cool friends, Jack. How are you all? Welcome back to another video. Let's be honest here. Have you done everything? Rejecting your own life plan? Sacrifice priorities for him? You are willing to do anything to prove yourself, to show how much you care. You are always there. You are always ready to help. You are always the first to respond, and you never refuse his invitation. You are very kind, always ready anytime when he needs you. But what did he give you? He doesn't even respect you. He doesn't even appreciate you. He takes all your goodness for granted. You've asked him to compromise, you've tried to chat with him, or you've tried to sleep with him, even asked for his attention. But the more you try, the more he doesn't see you. You're tired, right? So if all methods have been tried and do not work, it's time to use the last weapon, which is silence. Not in the sense of surrender, but this is a tactical step. No more messages or calls, you are gone from his radar, trust me. Sometimes silence is louder than words. Now he has to face the reality that you are no longer there for him. Maybe in front of other people he puts on a normal face, but in silence he felt empty, he felt lost. He will begin to realize what he has wasted. But remember, when he starts to feel regret, you have to be strong. It's about giving him a chance to appreciate you or realize that he doesn't deserve you. So say this with full confidence and write it in the comments column too, okay? Silence is my strength. Strengthen your heart, because your silence contains a message that is much stronger than thousands of words. It's about respecting yourself, to develop and become a better person, while giving a chance to people who can truly see your value without having to chase. This silence is not about you giving up. That love does not have to be pursued. Behind your silence, there is room for a better person to come, who can appreciate you from the start without any drama. Let's do this, and believe me, this silence will change everything. So, today we will discuss how your silence can make him see and realize that, how valuable you are. The first is he starts to feel like he's missing you. So this is the first thing that makes him realize that you are really not there anymore. Don't underestimate the power of this moment. In front of other people, maybe he still behaves like that, as if nothing has changed. But in silence, he felt empty. The warmth that he had always taken for granted. Now, suddenly he can't get it anymore. But here we often take the wrong steps. When he started to feel lost, we get carried away by our feelings. You start to think, should I see his current condition? Or what if he thinks that you don't care anymore? Then you feel the need to contact him again. It will destroy the silence you have worked so hard to build. Every time you give a signal, you actually cancel out the power of your absence in his life. Remember, right now is not the time to see his condition, or let him know you're still there. Keep quiet, let him meet his own thoughts, with the mistakes he made and the emptiness he felt. But don't misunderstand first, okay? This silence does not mean that you sit in your room and wait for your cell phone notification. It's not like that. This silence is about taking back the energy that used to be for him, then divert it to yourself. It's time for you to focus on moving forward, building strength, becoming a greater version. Now think about this. If he has feelings, your absence can make him realize what he has had all this time. Your silence is like planting a seed. If he has feelings for you, he will feel the impact stronger than anything else. But if he doesn't have feelings, just let the truth be revealed now. You don't have to force yourself to make him see your worth. Instead, see if he can feel the impact of your absence and do something for you. If not, this is a sign that he is not worthy of you and is a waste of your time. So at this stage, give yourself affirmations. I choose myself over his attention. Remind yourself that this is about you, about giving space to express what he really feels. Do not rush. Let your silence work. Let him feel the weight of your absence. You are in the process of finding out who is sincere, who can appreciate you without being reminded constantly. So don't worry, strengthen your heart, because this journey has just begun, and the answer will come in time. Okay? Let's continue. Number 2, use the indifferent strategy. At this stage, he wears a mask as if nothing has changed. He would probably act indifferent. He looks relaxed, posting on social media, laughing with their friends, and even saying that their lives are getting better. But believe me, it's just his acting. To protect his self-esteem. This is indeed a phase that makes you doubt. Makes you think, does my silence matter, or did I ever mean anything to him? Come on, let's discuss this. If he pretends not to care, doesn't mean he really doesn't feel anything. Usually this indifferent attitude is his first way to survive when he loses control. Pretend to be silent as if you mean nothing. He wants to make you believe that he is fine, so he can maintain a safe position. This is where you will be carried away by the current. You think, if he's so easygoing, maybe I should try contacting him first. Trust me! At this stage, you are actually starting to work on his heart, even though he half-heartedly denied it. He tried hard to maintain his attitude, wearing that indifferent mask to not look fragile. He tries to protect his selfish attitude by pretending not to care. He hopes you will give in first, back to his life with his rules. It's like a push-pull relationship where he tries hard to look strong. But behind that mask, he began to waver. Your silence makes him feel empty, even though he covers it up. So, you have to stay strong, keep quiet, and start working. But that's if you let the silence speak for itself when you check his condition. Even if it's just to know if he's okay. You give him control again. Your silence is like a storm that is shaking his heart. He may look ordinary, but in his heart he began to feel that emptiness. The mask he wore was just a bandage to cover a wound that would not heal on its own. This is also the moment when your strength is tested. Your silence has great power and is also invincible if carried out with action. Not to sit around waiting for him to wake up, but to refocus on yourself. Imagine as if you are forging yourself like steel. You are getting stronger, more solid, and this is something he can't ignore. If there are feelings behind that mask, your silence will touch his emotions. And as you grow up, he will start to feel lost. But if he doesn't have feelings for you, your silence will be a gift to reveal the truth of the feelings you need. The last thing you need is to waste energy on people who don't care about you. So it's like this. Whether he's hiding his true feelings or he just doesn't care, your job is to stay focused on yourself. Don't get carried away by the game or the mask. Keep building yourself, grow forward, and let him come to terms with his own feelings. If he misses you, he will come back by himself. If he doesn't miss you, at least he has given you space to meet someone who can truly appreciate you. Okay, let's continue. Number 3, he began to feel the weight of regret. Now we discuss where regret starts to feel heavy for him. At first, he might still try to look relaxed to cover up feelings. But now, your silence is like a big wave whose impact is starting to be felt. The emptiness you left behind is starting to make him aware. The regret began to come slowly, like an uninvited guest that could not be avoided. At this stage, he started to remember all the moments he missed, every opportunity to appreciate you, to be more attentive. It's as if he was standing on the edge of a cliff, seeing everything he once took for granted. Now, every indifferent attitude and every disrespectful action. So it was a high price he had to pay. It was like a shadow that always followed him, getting closer and closer, especially if you persist in silence. This is not just a feeling of longing, that. He had the choice to choose you. But instead, he let you go. Without your presence, without your certainty, you will always be there. He had to accept the fact that he had underestimated someone he should have respected. At this stage, people usually try to avoid feeling guilty, may still show off on social media, acting unaffected. But the mask can't last long. The regret was like a quiet storm that grew stronger with every memory that came to his mind, every reminder of what he lost. And he realized this stage could not be avoided. And now the control is in your hands, not his anymore. If he really cared, this regret would be hard on him and can make him start to reflect on himself. But if not, at least you can see his true feelings. So remind yourself and say, I am worth more than his regrets, and I choose myself over other people's feelings. Say this to be sure. You are not here to wait for someone to realize your worth. Regret is his burden, and that power is yours to grow. This journey is not over yet, and regret was just the beginning of what he felt, when he truly felt the impact of losing someone he thought would never go away. Stay strong, bro, because many truths will be revealed ahead. Okay, continue to the 4th, trying to replace you with a new person. At this stage, he begins to feel the impact of your absence. But instead of facing reality, he chose a shortcut, looking for someone new to fill the void. It must be painful he's dating someone else so quickly, as if the relationship you have can be replaced easily. But don't be fooled. This is just a momentary love, not a solution. Imagine this. It's like he's trying to cover a deep wound using a plaster. By spending time with new people, he is actually just avoiding feelings of regret, to emptiness and the reality that you no longer exist. This is not moving to another heart, but this is a disturbance in his heart. He takes advantage of other people's existence just to cover up the sense of loss he is experiencing. Maybe from the outside he looks happy, but remember, a new person is not the answer to what he really feels. His attempts to replace you are nothing more than a coping mechanism, not a serious connection. Sometimes when we lose something valuable, the first reaction is to look for a replacement without having to really change or develop. It's like he's trying to fit together a puzzle piece that doesn't fit, just to make the emptiness look covered. He might appear on social media, go out to play with friends, or show off new connections to make it look like you've moved on. But it was all just a show to cover up his heartache because of losing you. When you see him with someone new, it might make you question your self-worth. But remember, this is not all about you. It's about his inability to be in a comfortable feeling. The new connection is not a replacement, but only to be a buffer. Remind yourself at this stage you see who he really is and what he is willing to accept in return. Not everyone has the courage to face their mistakes. Sometimes a person prefers to hide behind the comfort of a new relationship, rather than facing reality when he lost someone who could not be replaced. Okay, let's continue. The fifth time when the world started to fall apart. Now we get to where his life is really starting to fall apart. When you are there, you become a buffer that makes him feel safe, even though sometimes it is not realized or even considered trivial. Without you, its foundation begins to crack. Maybe he thought he could go on as usual, but in fact, his life was slowly starting to fall apart. It's as if he's trying to hold water, but the harder you try, the more it spills. Now he feels the burden of desire, and an emptiness that cannot be filled with things, diversions, or a short relationship with someone new. Missing you is not about the person, but the loss of balance and stability that you brought to his life. Things that used to seem easy and now are starting to feel hard. He might be confused as to why all this is happening. You know the answer. You are the one who has been his mainstay all this time. Now, he feels he has no direction, trapped in a mess of his own making. He began to feel a loss that could not be hidden. Routines that usually make you forget for a moment. Now it's useless. He had no choice but to face the bitter reality. He lost someone who actually mattered. But let this process happen. One has to really feel the loss to realize how much he used to depend on. At this stage, you may feel sympathy or want to help him. But remember, this is his journey, not yours. He has to face the consequences of his own actions. Without you, who is always my support. Without you, he began to realize that the world he built, not as strong as he thought. Okay, let's continue. Sixth, facing emptiness in silence. At this stage, all diverted attention has begun to fade. Relationships with new people feel empty, and now he is only accompanied by silence. A silence that felt like emptiness. This empty space, which was once filled with your presence, is now starting to feel piercing. There are no more masks or temporary love here. He is completely alone. There are only his own decisions, and the shadow of what is lost. This is the phase where he starts to feel pain, which cannot be expressed in words. A feeling of emptiness that cannot be filled with anything. For the first time, he has to truly face reality without you, and without any distractions. Imagine, it was like he was lost in the desert. He wandered around looking for comfort, something that could fill the emptiness. But in the midst of this silence, he began to realize that he lost something irreplaceable. No matter how hard he pushes, he kept returning to the same empty space, where your absence feels even heavier. In the past, he considered your presence as something certain. There always is. Now, this silence has turned into a haunting emptiness, become a reminder that he once had something rare and valuable. But he just let you pass by. This emptiness has its own way of making a person feel down. Not loud or dramatic, but more like a feeling of emptiness that never goes away. And it becomes more pronounced as time goes by. He tried to cover it up with his busyness, but now silence is everywhere. He felt it when he woke up alone, when going through the day without being able to contact you, when night lying in bed, there is only the ceiling of the room and your shadow in the silence, the empty space that was once filled by your attention. At this stage, you might be tempted to see how he's doing, to see if he is conscious. But remember, this is his journey, not yours. He has to feel this emptiness completely so that he realizes how hard it is to lose you. It's not your job to save him from this emptiness. If he really values you, this silence will feel deep for him, to make him think and face the existing reality. But if it turns out he doesn't really appreciate you, he will still feel this silence. If he can pass this stage, it means he is not as serious as you. Okay, the last stage is the 7th, step back or rise. When he had to choose whether to continue to fall or rise. After all the masks, distractions, and attempts to fill the void, now he can no longer hide the truth. This is the time for him to face a big choice. Admit your loss, take responsibility, grow, or stay trapped in endless regret. For some people, this is the stage of heartbreak. The feeling of loneliness and regret felt too heavy. Always trying to get up, he just sinks deeper. Feel like you've lost an irreplaceable opportunity. The pain that once was thought to be temporary now feels deeper and lasting. Like an empty circle that he always tries to avoid, but always comes back to it. But there are also people who choose another path. Not just a loss, but a call to change. This is the moment where, if he is brave enough, he will rise. He began to realize where his mistake was, and finally want to learn from it all. Imagine this stage is like a crossroads. He can let regret define him, or he let this moment change them for the better. But this change doesn't come automatically, okay? It takes strength and humility, which not everyone dares to do. Your silence is a test for him, opportunity for him to grow or stagnate. If he succeeds, it's because he allows himself to learn. But if not, it means he is not ready to face this challenge. But this is the beauty of this stage. Whatever his choice, you are no longer tied to his journey. His growth or decline is no longer your responsibility. You have chosen to take a brave step, choosing to remain silent, to leave and give him space to face himself. The choice he makes now is entirely his responsibility, even if one day he returns with new respect or perhaps with an apology. Remember that. It's not about waiting for him to realize your worth. This journey is about you finding your own strength, not about him. So say this to yourself. Now I'm free because this is your moment. Free from any expectations or hopes about him. You have grown, you have changed, and now you are free to move forward. Every step on this journey is about reclaiming your power and set boundaries that reflect your values. Whether he realizes what's missing or not, you have gained something much more valuable: clarity, self-confidence, and independence. This journey is not easy, but look at the strength you now have. This is the beginning of the freedom and happiness you truly deserve. Okay, cool friend Jack, that's all for today. Always be healthy, stay strong, and keep up the spirit. Jack knows this isn't easy. Value yourself above your feelings. Ignore what you feel, and remember what you deserve. If you want your relationship to be much better and healthier, respect and treat yourself well first. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video, friends.